Alright, so what's up YouTube? Today I'm actually going to be talking about the Yu Hakusho live action Netflix adaptation that is coming out December of next year. So yeah, I recently made a few videos talking about the Yu Hakusho live action because we recently got news of the cast of the main four and the actors that are going to be playing Yusuke, Kurama, Hiei, and Kuwabara. So upon getting these cast members revealed, I sort of start to see kind of how this live action adaptation is going to go. In the beginning, I remember reading an article, and I actually remember also making a video about it, that the director of this project was going to be Japanese, but the team was apparently going to be pulled from abroad. And I remember hearing that in the article and thinking, oh, so this is going to potentially combine the best of all worlds when it comes to filmmaking and like having, you know, different people on the team from different places of the world, and it could be, you know, something that turns out to be really amazing. And that was kind of something that, you know, kept me pretty hopeful of the series, because when I think about a Yu Yu Hakusho live action, and especially being made by a team that is, you know, pulled from abroad, pulled from all different parts of the world, things that come to mind or that I would like to see, you know, when we think about Yu Yu Hakusho and a lot of the retro look that the characters have and, like, you know, the aesthetic, I mean, just the Yu Yu Hakusho openings themselves, all of the openings and closings are like 80s like music videos. Like, they all look so cool, and the music for all of them, like all the songs are just bops, and it's just like, dude, I would love to see something like that, something like a retro twist, you know, with like motion effects and everything. I would love to see something like that in live action. And we've seen stuff like this before, especially in live action, but not really from Japanese live action. And so I feel like what I wanted, you know, was like a nice, like really cool retro aesthetic, retro look, you know, pastel coloring maybe, like just, you know, something really nice to look at visually. And I feel like we definitely could have got something like that with like a director who has a more clear, different vision, and maybe with a different team. But I just feel like now it kind of seems like this Yu Yu Hakusho live action project is just going to be another Japanese live action anime project. And I have yet to make the video of why I think American live action adaptations are actually better than Japanese anime live action adaptations, but to give a little bit of kind of a teaser of that, one of the big reasons that I think that is because just the quality, the pure quality of anime live action adaptations from Hollywood are just better than the Japanese live action ones. I mean, just look at the Death Note live action movies from both of them, right? The Netflix one, while it may have deviated from the actual Death Note franchise a bit and did things a bit differently and story-wise wasn't all that great, the quality of it, the look, everything was believable, everything looked good. Ryuk has never looked better in live action form, whereas in the Death Note live action Japanese adaptation, like, Ryuk looks so bad, so terrible. A lot of the deaths just look ass. Like, everything just looks like it was filmed from a low-end camera on Amazon. Like, it just looks terrible. It's like, yeah, even though they try to stay true to the essence of Death Note, when you try to stay true to it but then also don't have the budget, don't understand the filmmaking techniques required, and don't really have the resources to maintain what made Death Note so great, it just comes off as straight ass to me. And I feel like that's why a lot of Japanese live action movies based on anime, to me, aren't great, don't look good, and aren't even worth watching, to be honest. But that's just one of the many reasons why I think American live action adaptations of anime are better. And I feel like with something that I would have loved to see, like, you know, a really nice, cool retro look that like would reflect, I don't know, like Japanese city pop, but in like live action, like I feel like we could have seen something like that, something colorful, poppy, and like, you know, just vintage and has like a really nice aesthetic going, but like also still looks really good. I feel like we could have seen something like that, or we would have had a better chance to see something like that from an American live action adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho as opposed to a Japanese live action one. So now I'm starting to regret having any sort of hope for this Yu Yu Hakusho live action, because it seems like it's going to be just another Japanese live action project, and the Japanese live action projects, like I said, just haven't been impressive to me at all. And you know, I mean, you can kind of see it in the essence of like Japanese and like live action, like not just with filmmaking, but you know, a lot of the stage plays, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, stage plays and live action films are completely different, but they do have, of course, some similarities, right? But if you look at the way Japan does their stage plays, I mean, they do a fantastic job with their stage plays, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like they always speed run them, right? Like, we get an announcement that like, oh, they're making a Jujutsu Kaisen live action stage play, and then it's like, it's coming out soon, they just show everything. It's just like, it's like Japan likes to just speed run live action anime, and I feel like that's why it always kind of ends up kind of poorly made or kind of trash, because it's like, they're just always like, all right, we have the material, we have the content here, we just translate it to live action, and then boom, it's good, it's done. It's like, no, like, no one, I feel like in Japan, or like the Japanese filmmakers, like really take the time to just be like, all right, here's my unique vision, and like, here's how I want to translate it, you know, and not just from like manga to movie screen. Like, it's like, no, like, take the time, use the camera techniques wisely, like, you know what I mean, really understand filmmaking. And I feel like it's not necessarily to say that they're bad directors or anything, but it's just like, once you actually kind of get into film and filmmaking and realize what's good and what isn't, and why you like certain things about films and why you don't, you start to see the different things. Like, Hollywood does good things and bad things, you know, independent filmmakers have done great things, you know, there's just great techniques and great things and great stuff out there that's just like from all different places. But when it comes to Japanese live action adaptations, it's primarily when it comes to anime adaptations, it's just like, nothing has ever really been too impressive to me. And I feel like, yet again, it kind of seems like they're just speed running this Yu Hakusho live action. They're like, okay, we've got these cast members, they look somewhat alright, and I'm like, oh man, like, it's just, they look so bad. And I just feel like we're just gonna get pretty much a Japanese live action, like nothing special. The whole like people from abroad thing was kind of just a hoax. They're probably just all from Japan anyway, and it seems like, yeah, we're just gonna get probably a poorly made, low budget sort of thing. It might be a bit higher budget, maybe with the help of Netflix and stuff, and them maybe realizing, okay, it's this Yu Yu Hakusho, people actually really love this series, they might pitch in a little bit. But I still think that at this point, the vision is what's really bringing this project down, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And I think that, yeah, it's gonna be not so great, to be honest. At least visually, from what I can tell, the cast members are not looking great at all. And yeah, I don't know, I have kind of lost hope, and that's part of the reason why. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments below. So yeah, feel free to let me know. While you're at it, please leave a like on the video, it helps me out a ton. Subscribe if you haven't already, that also helps me out a ton. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next video.